Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, back on Personal Pension Radio, off for last week's episode, Father's Day weekend. So I did what maybe most fathers did. I spent it in the front yard digging trenches and getting ready for sprinklers on what will someday be my beautiful, lush green front lawn. So yeah, that was Father's Day. So took the weekend off as far as putting out a podcast episode. Sorry for the gap in the podcast. Now, for those of you who are brand new, I am the income engineer, broadcasting here from, let's call it the Income Engineering Studio, which is actually my wood shop here in Southern California. My mission, and I chose to accept it, is to deliver the retirement dream that Wall Street has been promising. The retirement dream, actually, that Wall Street, when I originally started as a financial planner, financial advisor, 18, 19 years ago, I forget how much time has gone by. That was the dream, the retirement dream that basically I was taught that this is what you do. This is how you do it. This is how you get people to retirement. Well, of course, I was taught exactly what Wall Street wanted me to hear. I was taught the message that Wall Street wanted me to teach the general public. And unfortunately, that retirement planning mantra has not been working. It has not been working. So I have broken away from the herd, broken away from the standard, this is how we do it education that Wall Street gave me to become a specialist in the retirement income conversation, to really find the connection between the accumulation education. Now, that's the education that Wall Street gave me. That's the accumulation side of the equation. And to connect the dots to the distribution side. That's the part that Wall Street has just never gotten right, is the distribution side of the retirement equation. So my specialty is bringing those two together, hence the income engineer. Now, for those of you who haven't been with the show, if you haven't been here before, I want to make sure that you understand really what this show is all about. I want to make sure that you know that my goal is to help you fight the conventional wisdom about retirement planning. You've got to be prepared to step out of line. The story I'm going to share with you today, I think will really highlight why it's so important that if you've been just doing what the financial advisory community has been telling you to do, I want you to be prepared to start challenging those things, start asking questions. I'm not saying that this advice that you might have been receiving is wrong. What I'm saying is that it's a very good chance that it is incomplete. It is incomplete because optimizing retirement income does not happen with a product. It doesn't happen with a 401k. It doesn't happen with investments, life insurance, real estate, 401ks, annuities, Roth IRAs. None of these things by themselves will help you actually achieve an optimized, maximized retirement. You must have an integrated approach. You've got to be able to cross the line from investment to life insurance, for example, and bring those two things together in the appropriate balance in a financial plan to achieve the maximum benefits from both of those things. Notice what I said there, that if you cross investments and life insurance, or let's bring investments in real estate or annuities, life insurance, you bring those things together and all of them can be in one plan. But if you bring them together in the right balances, That's where the magic happens. That's where an optimized retirement starts actually becoming a reality. So, this show, my goal is to give you hope for retirement. I want you to be prepared for the most important question, right? So I've been hearing it constantly, this idea of, are you ready to retire? Do you know if you have enough money to retire? You know what? You got to stop asking that question first. You need to ask, how much income can I have from whatever number I have? That's the question you've got to ask your financial advisor. You've got to ask, how much income can I have? And if you follow and I'm going to talk about it more later, if you follow the Wall Street approach to retirement income conversation, it's often a very depressing conversation. I want you to know there is light at the end of that retirement tunnel. You just have to be willing to stop following that conventional wisdom. You got to be willing to do that. Now, disclosure. I am not an attorney. I'm not a certified public accountant. I am a certified financial planner professional. With all that said, please don't act on things that you hear on this show as if you're getting personalized financial planning advice, because you're not. This is meant to be informational, motivational, perspirational, get you excited about a topic, get you interested in taking a next step. Before you act on anything you hear, especially from financial entertainers. Financial entertainers are people just doling out financial advice who have no regulatory oversight. They have no licensing. They basically have no business giving financial advice. And yet they are allowed to do it under the First Amendment, and I commend them, and that's fine, all well and good. But please don't act on advice that you hear on shows like that. Meet with a qualified financial planner. Meet with somebody who is a certified financial planning professional, for example. But go over your specific details before you start acting on any financial advice or things that you might consider to be financial advice. Now, of course, last week I took the weekend off for Father's Day and digging trenches in the front yard. So what is this week's topic in our first segment, Watch Your Step? Well, this is the big one. This is a big one. This came to my house in the mail. It is my Financial Advisor magazine. Financial Advisor magazine. And, I'm going to get all excited about this article, so bear with me. But the front page, this bright yellow issue of Financial Advisor magazine says, hardly working, try hardly retiring. Okay, now the subheading, right? So now that's enough to catch your eyes. Oh, wait a minute. Hardly working? Does that refer to the fact that a lot of people came out of the 2008 recession underemployed, right? People who had been previously employed with good paying jobs now came out of the recession underemployed. Try hardly working. How about hardly retiring? This is the caption, though, that caught my eye, really, that got me. That you have to, as the general public, you have got to know and be aware of what the industry that's giving you advice, what the industry is seeing. Okay? So under this heading, hardly working, try hardly retiring, it says, with more people staying in the workforce after 65, how do advisors benefit? How do advisors benefit from more people staying in the workforce after age 65? Now, what I see here personally is more people staying in the workforce after 65 is not some wonderful fantasy dream that people said, oh, I'm so excited. I can plan to stay in the workforce until after I'm 65. It's just so great. I look forward to it. No, the majority of people I ever talk to who think about staying in the workforce past age 65, that's something that causes them, that's really not what I had hoped for, right? So that's kind of depressing news. It's not good. That means the system hasn't been giving people the confidence to think that they can get out after 65. But this financial advisory magazine says, all right, this is the way it is. How do we benefit from it? I understand that's the industry. That's a business wanting to benefit from something that's happening. But the reality is the financial advisory community, I believe, and the Wall Street education we've all received is the reason that people are hardly retiring, right? That's the thing. This is what your financial advisors are seeing in their private reading library. This is what's on my coffee table that I read on a regular basis to keep up with all these various things. The article in this magazine goes through a number of different studies, and the overriding result of these studies is that 38% of workers plan to work for pay in retirement. It's interesting how they say it. It's work for pay in retirement. Multiple financial advisors are cited in this article, so I'm just going to call them Fred or Sally financial advisor, like Fred or Sally, okay? Just note there's multiple financial advisors quoted. So one, for example, and the beginning of this article starts out with, the notion of a fixed retirement date is starting to unravel. Really? Starting to unravel. And remember, my take on this is, I don't believe the majority of people cited in that 38%, I don't believe the majority of them that if you actually talk to them are like, yay, I'm so excited I get to be working when I'm 70. That was my dream. Not at all. That is just, I don't believe that to be the case, right? If you need to keep working so that you have a sense of self-worth, because that's one of the things this article talks about is, oh, the people they're working because of this wonderful need for self-worth and to fulfill fill their time, and okay, great. But I'm sorry, I don't find that to be the case when I talk to folks about this topic, right? That's great if you want to keep working because you need this feeling of self-worth, awesome. I want people to be able to choose that as the result, right? The ability to go to work, but not the need to go to work. That is not, right? Not the case anymore. That's what I just don't see that being the case anymore, that folks go because they want to. Most of the time people are thinking this way because they think they have to work, right? I think this type of financial advisory industry content is going to become more and more common, okay? That's what I'm saying. What I'm seeing as a financial advisor, financial planner, I believe this type of content, these types of articles that are basically saying, and this is me reading between the lines, I am the skeptic / conspiracy theorist a tiny little bit. This is what I see on this kind of an article. It's like, hey, financial advisory industry, our advice hasn't really worked for a long time, and it's not working very well for this group of retirees. So we control the marketing message and the education machine. Let's change the message. Let's change it, right? Since the 401k was introduced, and pay attention to this, folks, most people don't know this. Since the 401k was introduced in 1978, so the 401k is less than 40 years old. Well, less than 50 years old, right? That's incredible. The primary dominant retirement vehicle has never been tested in a retirement income generational idea. The baby boomers coming along right now is the first generation to really test the 401k. But here's the thing. You have to understand this and just pay close attention to these numbers. Since it was introduced, the 401k and IRAs and all that stuff, in 1978, total retirement account assets are nearing $25 trillion. $25 trillion in IRAs and 401ks and such. Okay? The Wall Street machine is as big as it is, in large part, my opinion, in large part to the 401k and the IRA. These things created 1978 and that generation, that era, have led to this massive, massive amount of money, $25 trillion in these retirement accounts. And Wall Street has built, of course, their business around managing that $25 trillion. So do they really want you to take the money out? Do they want people to retire at 65, 66, 67? Or would they rather, which is more beneficial? Think about this. Which is more better for Wall Street? If we change the mantra to convince people that working until you're 70 is probably what you've got to do, or let's really teach all these folks how to retire at 65, 66, 67, 68. Let's teach them how to retire and how to take money out of our $25 trillion system. And I hope you see it. Of course, Wall Street has no financial incentive, no financial benefit to teach people how to take money out, maximum income out for retirement. There's no financial incentive. They make money as long as they have $25 trillion in the hopper. They're going to make money, right? So if they're not going to spend a lot of time teaching people to take money out. Wall Street has taught that the solution to retirement is save, 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 right? They have no viable conversation, no viable plan for income. This, in my opinion, this is the reason that we are hearing more and more stories about people working until they're 70 and beyond. It's because the retirement system has failed. The retirement system has failed. And if the Wall Street retirement system actually provided a viable solution to lifestyle sustaining income, I'm guessing these keep working articles, right, would be different. That's what I'm saying. If Wall Street actually had a viable income planning solution, we wouldn't be having these hardly working, try hardly retiring articles, right? It would be a whole different message. It might be a message that says, hey, look, it's working. We're awesome. It doesn't work. So Fred, financial advisor, was quoted in this article saying, I have counseled many clients on the value of the income to take. Now, income, what they mean by that is income from working. I have counseled many clients on the value of income to take the pressure off their investment portfolios. It is amazing how much a difference even a little earned income can make. What? Hey, Fred, how about you might have taken a little different direction? That instead of setting up a plan where your client is responsible for going to work after they supposedly retired on your plan so that they could earn income that could buffer losses in down years so that your portfolio would be safe from excess withdrawals, how about you set up a plan that includes things like annuities and investments partnered with life insurance assets and put them all three together? Yes, some of that money might have to come out of the Wall Street plan to do it, but if you partnered life insurance and annuities into that same plan with investments, you can't have one without the other. They all have to go in the right ratio. But what if you actually did that and your clients were able to go into retirement with actually sustainable, healthy income, balanced, and they had a buffer built in so that their investment portfolio could be offset by an annuity, for example, or with life insurance assets that are guaranteed, right? What if you actually had a plan in place so that they didn't have to take your advice to be prepared to get income to cover your downfalls? That's what I read in here is like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, could you please plan on working in retirement? Because sometimes my retirement plan, my investment portfolio, it's just not going to work that great. There's going to be years that it'd be really nice if you were working at the 5 and dime. Unbelievable. Okay? The article says that advisors are also fond of highlighting the tax benefits of working longer. The tax benefits of deferring more taxes. What have we said? If you've listened to this show before, you've heard me say it. There are no such things as tax deductions when it comes to 401ks and IRAs. It's a tax postponement. And does anyone listening believe that taxes will be truly lower in the future? Really? No, I've never had anybody say, oh, yes, I believe the government will be benevolent and lower my taxes in the future. No, everybody believes that in one way or another, taxes will be higher in the future. So why in the world, at the end of our retirement cycle, that accumulation cycle, would you really want to max out a bunch of extra tax postponement, right? Why wouldn't you want to be prepared with other things, right? That's the idea. Now, Sally, financial advisor, said, all of this is a huge... Now, listen to this, okay? This is where the article... This is where it really gets me. So Sally says, all of this is a huge plus for business, her business as a financial advisor. The decision process involves knowledge of taxation, retirement, accounts, investment strategies, Medicare and Social Security benefits, and RMDs. So this article is about people basically having to work longer, having to push off retirement, try hardly retiring, and this financial advisor hits it right on the head. It's good for business. Because the retirement income that has been taught, this plan or lack thereof, has not been working. So people are going back to, sad thing, this is a sad reality, they're finding out that, oh man, the income thing, it's not working. Oh man, I didn't realize I was going to have so little income in retirement. Well, they're turning back to the same financial advisory community that to ask for help, like, hey, what do we do? So this lady says, this is a huge plus for business. They're looking for advice on knowledge of taxation, retirement accounts, investment strategies, etc. Do you know what she doesn't say in here? Is that there's so few financial advisors that ever speak this way. Retirement income. They speak of, let me give you advice on Medicare, Social Security, investment strategies, etc. Nobody says, let me teach you how to take your money out. Let me teach you how to distribute all of this money. It's, let me teach you how to go to work so that you can earn income so that when the market is bad, we don't have to take any money out of my system, right? That's the message. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Financial advisor Fred goes on to say this, for us CFPs, there are more opportunities for engagement in determining realistic retirement goals. Realistic retirement goals. Remember, this is the same person that said, yeah, I like to tell my clients that it'd be great if they went and got a job in retirement, right? And he's now saying that, hey, for us CFPs, there's more opportunity for engagement in determining realistic retirement goals. Read this. When you hear realistic retirement goal, how about realistic based on the system that we've put you in? Realistic based on our Wall Street system, which really sucks when it comes to retirement income. So let's get you into some realistic, and my fingers are up in air quotes, realistic retirement goals. Okay? Now listen to this one. I know, this is a quote out of the article now, I know the industry is concerned about a business model built around retirees because of the net outflow of assets. We do not see this as an issue. What? Of course it's an issue. The retiree generation needs a distribution plan. They need outflows of those assets. the author of this article is saying, we know it's a big concern. And I'll tell you, in the industry, it is a huge concern. Remember, $25 trillion pays for a whole lot of nice, shiny buildings and limos and vacations and expensive clothes, right? The financial advisory industry, Wall Street, if you take, is very awash with money, right? I know the industry is concerned about the business model built around retirees because of a net outflow of assets. The industry is concerned about the outflow of assets, and yet I thought that was your job as a financial advisor helping someone with a retirement plan, is to plan for the outflow, to give them maximum income, something to look forward to, right? They go on to say most retirees will not spend down their wealth. Many older clients spend less than planned. Really? Who are those people? Really? Where are those people? How do you say that? I mean, I cannot believe this is a financial advisor writing this or saying these things that's actually experienced the baby boomer generation. Really? Most retirees will not spend down their wealth. I have a client, husband and wife, that even in their 80s, they were spending money to go on trips to Australia. That's expensive. It's expensive. We had a great income plan for them. They have both since passed away, but they went right to the wire, just enjoying life. Maybe because they had a really healthy retirement income plan, a distribution plan. Okay? Most retirees will not spend down their wealth. Really? Of course, that's exactly the opposite of what I see. Right? Here's one of my very favorite nuggets in the entire article. Okay, now I'm going to bring it down a notch. Ready for this? Plus, there's a chance that advisors will enjoy a higher valuation on their practice in the event of a merger or acquisition. So think again, you have to take into consideration where the messages are coming from. What did I say earlier about the $25 trillion in retirement accounts? I coupled that with the question, does Wall Street have any financial incentive to teach you and I, or teach me how to teach you to take your money out of their system? Of course not. They have no financial incentive to teach you how to take your money out. And this article and this quote right out of the article that says, plus, there's a chance that advisors will enjoy a higher valuation on their practice in the event of a merger or acquisition, right? So if we can just convince, right? And this is what financial advisor Fred said. Listen to this. Financial advisor Fred said this, because this is what I thought when I read that nugget. We, in the financial planning profession, need to start to change the narrative of what retirement is. There you go, folks. The financial advisory community needs to change the message of what retirement is. Because if we can just get articles like this is just me ranting a bit, right? Because if the financial advisory community, and what that means is Wall Street, because remember, when I open up my financial advisory magazine, the inside front cover, full 2-page spread, Wall Street firm. The next one, Wall Street firm. The next page, Wall Street firm. The next page, Wall Street firm. I haven't even gotten to an article yet. The next page, Wall Street firm, Wall Street firm. I'm still trying to get to an article, not yet. Wall Street firm. I am one page at a bam. I finally got there on page 12 is the first article in the magazine, and on the right side, another full-page ad from a Wall Street firm. And then goes on and on and on. Back cover, Wall Street firm, right? Who controls the marketing message? Wall Street, right? And articles like this, who benefits from an article like this to start putting the idea in the financial advisory community that hardly working, let's say hardly retiring, why is it more beneficial Let's start putting articles out that teach the financial advisory community that we need to start changing the narrative about what retirement is. If we can just really change the messaging to convince people that they should, work until 70, that's the new normal, that's better for the financial advisory community, right? Okay, now listen. Before I get off this, let me just give you a very simple scenario of what Wall Street says when it comes to retirement. Wall Street's mantra for years has been the 4% rule and the Monte Carlo simulation, a computer program that figures out the probabilities of success depending on how much income you want to try and take out of your 401k or IRA. So here's what Wall Street actually says. They say if you save up $1 million, now think about it. How many people out there have $1 million saved up? Right? Not many. Very few, actually. But let's just say we use $1 million, a nice, easy example. And you go talk to a financial advisor. And you say, how much income can I have from my $1 million? And I want to start at age 66. I know that you have been telling me that I should work until I'm 70 and maybe get a job to help cover some of the shortfalls in the investment portfolio, later on in case your plan doesn't work that great. But I want to retire at 66 because we'll be healthy and I want to go for a cruise and have fun. So let's just tell me, hey, I've got $1 million, Mrs. Financial Advisor. How much income can I have from my $1 million? Right? And the Wall Street advisor said, we used to tell people 4%. I'm sorry, what? $40,000 from $1 million? I'm a millionaire and you're telling me that I should only take out $40,000? Yeah, and that was actually before taxes. So don't forget you still have to pay taxes on that $40,000. But here's the thing. That $40,000 that we used to tell people, it's really not working very well for people who have actually retired and have been distributing their money. So we're kind of starting to tell people $35,000 a year to start taking as far as your income withdrawal from your 401k and retirement assets. And your reaction is probably the same as most when I tell them that. What? I'm going to live on $35,000 a year? That doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right at all. How is that possible? Congratulations, you're a millionaire. Your income in retirement is going to be $35,000. Well, if that's the only story you heard, if that's the only thing you ever heard, and you're looking at it going, I can't have any kind of a retirement dream on $35,000 plus my Social Security. That's just going to be terrible. Well, what's your option? If you have no other plan, your option is to go back to work or keep working, right? That's where the keep working comes from, is that Wall Street has been delivering this hugely disappointing conversation of 4% or 3.5% income suggested withdrawal rate. It's depressing, right? But seriously, how many people have $1 million saved up? That's a hard number. What if you were fortunate enough? Listen to this, though. Think. If you were fortunate enough to be on track to have $3 million saved up for retirement, and you ask a financial advisor, and this is a challenge to the listening audience again, please do this. If you're on track for $3 million, you probably have a financial advisor. Most people who are on track for that kind of retirement savings will have a financial advisor. If not, go do it yourself. But ask a financial advisor for your income number instead of your accumulation number. Like, hey, what are we on track for? How much are we going to have? How big's my number when I get ready to retire? So what that your number looks big? Ask, how much income can I have? How much income can I have from that $3 million? And if you walk into a financial advisor, most of them will say 4%. $120,000 a year withdrawn from your account. Now listen, if you were able to save up $3 million, you probably were not making $120,000 a year. probably not making 120 grand a year. You might have been making a considerably higher income if you were able to raise a family and live and then get to the point where you had $3 million, right? But what if you saved up $700,000 and they told you $28,000 a year, right? These numbers are depressing for so many people, and that message, that has been the retirement conversation for years. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be. That you can have substantially more retirement income if you have, notice what I say, I will not say a product. What I say is you will have substantially more retirement income if you have an actual engineered, designed income plan. You actually have to put all of these different pieces of the puzzle together for a retirement income plan. You've got to have annuities working with investments and life insurance and real estate and whatever your mix is, you've got to have the right balance, and you can achieve 60 to 80 to 90% more than the standard Wall Street retirement conversation, but you can't do it with a product. You can't fix it with a product. So here's a takeaway. I offer my listeners, my clients, my prospective clients, I offer a retirement income analysis. A retirement income analysis. I will show you what the Wall Street track is for you. I will show you exactly what you're on track for if you want to stay in line with the herd at the Wall Street Financial Advisory Retirement Plan. And I'll also show you what your options can look like with an actual an income engineered retirement plan. You can compare them. You can look at the three options. I do three of them all side by side. You can understand where you're headed currently and what you could be on track for. Now, next week, I am going to revisit this idea of building that financial castle, okay? And there's a really important set of building principles that I want to share with you again. It's been a while since I brought it up. So next week is going to be the 4 wealth objectives. Don't miss it. Thank you all so much for being here. Really appreciate it. By the way, yes, I am still offering the free access to eMoney. It's one of the best systems available for cash flow planning, estate planning. It's got a document vault, data aggregation, investment planning, all kinds of amazing features. Fantastic. And I am offering it to listeners. You send me an email to Kraig with a K, KraigStrom, Kraig with a K, at kraigstrom.com. So Kraig at kraigstrom.com. Subject line, eMoney. eMoney. And forgive me, I'm not going to get to them all immediately, but I do keep them in my email, and I will get you set up for your free account, and you'll receive a link that you can just set it up, and you can start loading in your data and getting your account set up. I use the system myself. I love being able to see my numbers all in one place. It's really, really cool. So don't forget to ask for that. And you can also send me a link. You can go to that same link and or the same email, and you can just write in income analysis in the subject line. You can send Kraig at kraigstrom.com and send income analysis. I'll send you the questionnaire we need to get the data, and I'll prepare your income analysis for you. So don't miss that. And the next episode, we'll talk about the 4 wealth objectives. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to head over to iTunes. I'd like to get past 30 reviews on the podcast. So if you haven't given the podcast a review on iTunes, I would really appreciate it. I'm at 22 right now. So I want to get past that, break that 30 number. Need your help to do it, and really appreciate it. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast. If you missed anything during the show, that's okay. We took the notes for you. Check the show notes for links, offers, and a full transcript. And don't forget to head over to personalpensionradio.com and download your free retirement income report. While you are there, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening.
Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.